So people think the limited liability is to protect you. No, it's to protect the group. The IRS says we're going to limit the liability and protect the group of people. I'm going to limit how much is owed, liability, how much you owe, and I'm going to split it amongst the group of people. So that way, one person doesn't have to take all the liability by themselves. So whenever you do not have a group of people to split the liability with, you are operating that business as a sole member, the only person. So if you are the only person, who are you going to split the responsibility with? That means that all financial responsibility falls on your shoulders. Do you want to know why? Everybody that works in the United States has to pay federal income taxes on the money that it makes. That LLC is only recognized by the state. So who you think responsible at the federal level? Oh, you don't know? Let me show you. Whenever you go file your tax return, whenever you go file your tax return, you use Form 1040. Form 1040 is the U.S. individual income tax return. Whenever you tell the IRS how much money you make, you report that in the income section. If you work a 9 to 5, they give you a W-2 at the end of the year. That's on line 1. But you see, when we scroll down to line number 8, additional income from Schedule 1, line 10. That means we have to go pull up the Schedule 1. The Schedule 1 is attached to your 1040. This is where you report any additional income and adjustments to your income. You see line 3, business income or loss, attached Schedule C. Now here's where it's going to hit you dead smack in the face. And I'm telling y'all this out of love. If I ask you, do you have a business? You say yes. If I ask you if you have a business structured as an LLC, you would tell me yeah, because you say I have limited liability. Well, the devil is a lie. Because whenever you put your profit and loss on a Schedule C, that says sole proprietorship. What is the definition of a sole proprietor? Tell me if this don't define you right now. A person who is the exclusive owner of a business, that means only owner. A person who is the only owner of that business. Entitled to keep all profits after tax been paid, but liable for all losses. The definition of liable is responsible by law, legally answerable. Hold, please. So you mean to tell me, whenever you give businesses and banks and other people your EIN number that has your name attached, somehow you listening to people tell you that your name don't matter, and yet you're looking at your name. And then when the financial institutions, the credit card companies, and everybody else that you need to go get funding from, they say, well, tell me how much money the business made. You gave them your personal tax return. I'm sorry. How you separated from that business again? When all roads lead back to you? What? You see, the lie has been sold and you bought it first class. Just like that. And let me tell you why you bought it. Let me tell you why you bought it. Now, this is where you make today your first day that you start to take accountability for your actions. Let me tell you why you bought the lie. Because you never went through the research yourself. This is where you have to say, I started my business and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And I take full accountability for not going to read it myself. One of the things that people tell you, because I saw it in the comments. Well, I thought that you have to make a certain amount of money to become a corporation. That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. Let me prove it to you. I'm going to go through the process of getting an EIN number right now. I'm going to go through the process of getting an EIN number right now. Don't you have to do more reporting? You see, all lies. You see, whenever you go get an EIN number, you see how they let you choose anything on this paper? Not one structure has a dollar amount next to it. Not one structure has a dollar amount next to it. Now, let me make it even better. For everybody who believe that you have to make a certain amount of money to become a corporation, out of curiosity, let's say that they say that you have to make 50,000, 60,000, 100,000 to be a corporation. Let's just use that as an example. What happens when you have a bad year and you don't make that money? What, you got to convert back to LLC? You think when companies have a bad year, they just switch structures? You see? No, that's not true, y'all. Here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. If you've ever used the word write-off, hey, Dwayne, can I write this off on my taxes? Can I write that off on my taxes? If you've ever used the word write-off, type the number 1 in the chat. Watch. I'm about to show you that the only difference between you and success is in the way that you think. I promise you. If you've ever used the word write-off, put a 1 in the chat. And before I turn my screen around, if you consider yourself a small business owner, put a 2 in the chat. If you consider yourself a small business owner, put a 2 in the chat. The only difference between you and making real money, the difference between you and being real, successful, I promise you, is simply in the way that you think. You ready? Watch. Let me take you to the tax return. Guess what? I go to the expense section of the tax return. You know what you will never see? You will never find the word write-off on nobody's tax return. You don't even find the word owner's draw. People telling you can take an owner's draw. That's not even on a tax return. And yet you use them words like they are golden. You use that word like it came out of the Bible or something. The word write-off don't even exist on a tax return, and you never went look at what the definition of the word means. The definition of the word write-off is simply to dismiss someone or something as insignificant. To cancel the record of a bad debt, acknowledge the loss of or failure to recover an asset. Write-off and charge-off are cousins. I ask you, do you consider yourself a small business owner? The definition of the word small by itself is of a size less than normal or usual, insignificant or unimportant. Now, I want y'all to don't lose sight of what I'm about to show you. The word small has insignificant in the meaning. The word write-off also has insignificant in the meaning. What is the definition of the word insignificant? You are literally walking around saying that you are too small or unimportant to be worth consideration. And then when you come across life-changing information, when you come across information that is going to change your life forever, you come up with every excuse and say, I can't. The difference between me and you is about the way that you think. Words have meaning and words have power. When you call yourself a small business owner, I want to know what question on the EIN application, what question on the Secretary of State did they ask you if you was big or small? I'll wait. Nobody ever asked you that, and yet you put yourself in that category, and then you have the audacity to get pissed off when somebody treats you like you're unimportant. Well, hell, you labeled yourself as that. You did that. You did that. Ain't nobody did that to you. And then you're going to have the audacity to say, well, the Small Business Administration says how many employees. You see where I'm going with that? The difference between you being successful and staying broke is the way that you think. Now, I'm never going to use the word, let's use common sense. Let's just dig in and use logic for just a second. If you never want to be sued personally, type the number 1 in the chat. If you never want to be sued personally, type the number 1 in the chat. If you never want to give your social security number, if you never want to use your credit score to get a business loan, if you don't want your name to be on any business loan application, type the number 2 in the chat. Eduardo, I hope you're still listening, because now you asked me, well, what should we do? I'm about to give it to you. If you don't ever want to be sued, let's think logically for a second. If you don't ever want to be sued, if you don't ever want to give your social security number, shouldn't you give people a document that ain't got your name on it? There's only one structure that allows you to not have your name on paper, and that's a corporation. Had you just taken 5 minutes to just select the word corporation, just to read it, you didn't even have to want to do it. But even if you'd just take the time to just read it, it would have told you, the IRS would have told you, a corporation is nothing more than a person. Whenever the IRS is talking about people, they're talking about a citizen or resident of the United States or a corporation. And I'm about to prove something to y'all. This might hurt a little bit, but just say ouch anyway. The more you keep blurting out, well, I heard, that lets me know right now you built your entire life based on what other people said, and you never went and do research yourself. You didn't even go read it. Everything that y'all put in the comments you heard somebody else say. It's right there on the IRS website. You didn't even go read it for yourself. That lets me know right now I can sell you a bag of goddamn wolf cookies. You're not going to even ask me what the damn ingredients are. As long as them wolf cookies appeal to you, you're going to buy it first class. Because why? If it's going to give you a shortcut to where you don't have to put in no work and all you want to do is reap the benefits, you're going to take it just like that. You don't even see if I'm trying to poison you. You don't even try to see if I'm trying to take your soul. Some of you all are in the position that you're in not because you looked for the shortcut. If you'd have just read on what a corporation is, your life could have been different years ago. You see? Look what I just said. Look, you just proved my point, shenanigans. And I'm not coming for you in the comments, man. I'm not coming for you. Just know that I'm speaking out of love. Doesn't a corporation require 3 members? Did you go check? Did you read it? That's not a true statement. That's not a true statement. It's not. A corporation is a person, y'all.